So we're going to make some speciality sausage rolls. These are pork with black pudding. So how do we make them? Let's find out. These are sausage rolls, but with a difference. These aren't just your plain puff pastry with your normal sausage meat inside. These have a little bit of an extra kick. Starting with this stuff, black pudding, which you either love or you hate, and I love some. There's a lot of people where I'm going, and I'm going to be taking these sausage rolls who don't like black pudding. That means I won't have to share them. Anyway, so in here we've got some sausage meat. I've got just over 400 grams of that, and I've got about 200 grams of black pudding with the skins removed. And what we're going to do is we're going to chop that up, so in smaller bits obviously, so we can blend it all together with that. But we are going to add some other herbs and spices. So you're going to need some mace, or if you haven't got any mace, some nutmeg, salt, pepper, some rosemary leaves, finely chopped, 50 grams of finely chopped walnuts, and I think that's it, and 2 eggs to cover the puff pastry with. And obviously we want some puff pastry. Now you can buy ready rolled sheets and do it with that, or you can buy a block of it and roll it. So I'm going to start by getting my mace, and I've got a generous amount of mace here. Like I say, if you haven't got any mace, you can use nutmeg, and I'm just going to grind this up, and then I'm going to chuck that in there with my sausage. So that's the mace gone in there. If you didn't know, mace is like the outer husk that's normally around the natural nutmeg. Anyway, I'm then going to put in the walnuts. I've got a generous tablespoon of the rosemary leaves finely chopped, and then we're going to give it a nice good grind of black pepper and some salt. And then, like I say, the only other thing you're going to need to do is I need to get that, where's my knife gone? I lost my knife now. Chop up my black pudding, get it nice and sort of crumbly if possible, so that we can then blend it all in there with that mixture. That's all the ingredients in there, and what we're going to do now is we're just now going to massage it all together. Okay, we want to get nice even spread of those nuts, meat, black pudding, rosemary and so on. Okay, and then the only other thing, like I say, you're going to need obviously is your puff pastry, and some couple of eggs lightly beaten, which we will use to seal up the sausage rolls and also to give them a little bit of a glaze. My oven's on, it's up to about 180 on a fan. Okay, I think 200 if you haven't got a fan. I've got a few fans. I bought a block of puff pastry, 500 grams worth, and I've split it into 3, and I've rolled it out into a rough triangle. And all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to trim it to get a nice straight edge, and obviously we can re-roll our trimmings. And then all I need to do is just get my eggs beaten, and we'll be ready to start making our first lot of rolls. I've spread a little sausage of the sausage mix down there, and all we're going to do now is, with some beaten egg, just run some down that edge, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that pastry up over the meat, and then just roll it over so that beaten egg side sticks down onto it. Now you could, if you want, overlap it and do like a crimped edge. I'm just going to do it like that. And then what we're going to do now is we're now just going to divide it up into sausage rolls, which which I'm then just going to place onto a baking tray with some baking paper. And as I forgot to say just before we put them in the oven, what we're just going to do is just brush them over with some of this beaten egg wash. Then it goes in the oven and should be about 20 minutes. A lot on that second tray I made slightly larger, so they might want a little bit longer, but basically you want it until the pastry is nice and golden. So the next time you will see these is when they're cooked and ready. God, this one. This is straight out of the oven. Hot. Nice and meaty. Definitely got that kick of black pudding and a couple of other special ingredients. So, pork and black pudding sausage rolls.